Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and our will. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into a couple of little videos real quick as, you know, people think that things are starting to go back to so-called normal. They're getting a little comfortable and things like that. But lo and behold, they don't realize the things that's going on around them as far as, the increase of prices of food. All right. The shortages and, the coming shortages that's coming, because these things don't just start when you see them on the shelves, man. All right. A lot of these things start, as far as the shipping and things go. All right. So I'm going to play about 3 little videos real quick, and then we're going to jump into the lesson. All right. And, this one here is from your boy Dob.
Out on the east coast of the United States when it comes to the shipping lanes and the ports being backed up. And if you've been paying attention, you should know that we're in a situation where things have been backed up for months, especially on the west coast, where we have ships that are all the way out over the horizon in a queue, backed up. And the Biden administration said that they were going to work to get this whole thing figured out and resolved. It's never happened. And now we have different ships making different decisions, but many of them are skipping the West Coast ports and going to other areas that are not so crowded. But what we're now seeing is they're saying that the East Coast ports are getting backed up. And they're trying to use the same old excuses they have this whole time. If you think it's bad now, if you think that the shelves look bare now, if you've been waiting 6, 9 months, maybe a year for goods, it's about to get even worse. Now, when looking into this and looking into the airstrips that China owns in the United States, it's rather interesting. And we're wondering, how are all the Chinese goods getting here so quickly? We seem to know of several airstrips that could potentially be bringing these goods in, no doubt. And all this part of a deal between Bezos and China, because as all the small businesses were getting shut down, Amazon was allowed to stay open. Now, this place is really getting shut down in terms of the ports. Everything coming to an extreme crawl here, and I just want to give people the heads up. So,
all right, and going into their video, as far as the longer these ships have to stay out at port or stay out in the ocean, all right, which is causing a backlog of certain things. Also, the price of actual shipping has gone up. The price of those shipping containers and things like that has gone up. And where do you think the prices, the rise in this price is going to end up at, man? It's going to end up in your face, man, because they're going to just push it all the way down into the consumer. All right, so let's watch a different one. So that was out at the ports. All right.
If you currently have one of these red and blue cards, this may be the most important video that you see today.
And so what we're about to see is, like I was just explaining, how this is all like a trickle down effect. All right. So like I just said, you just seen, where the backup was, as far as the ports and things like that, where the ships is hard for them to get in. All right. Now they go from there to these storehouses. All right. Now let's watch this one.
this is Dabu 7. Again, looking at the bare shelves across the country. This time, it has become a major trend. The hashtag itself, bare shelves Biden, taking off here in the past 24 hours, still trending into today. And we've been talking about the empty shelves across the board. The last video that I put out talking about this was showing in multiple states, from coast to coast, items going bare. And you're talking about just about everything in every sector. And what they're doing is they're taking items and they're putting them up in the aisles repeatedly, like lawn chairs, like we've seen, and other items, trying to fill the gaps and give this illusion like the store's not empty. But people are responding. So take a look here, just scrolling through some of the latest imagery. This right here is Utah. This is the pet food aisle, and this is in Washington. And this is what I hear a lot of. The pet food has disappeared across the board. PA, you can see this. You would think a person that has common sense when they see this, when they see that all these people are reporting back, that even if they walk in a store near them and it has food in it, that they would have a plan. Pretty naive to think that it's not going to catch up to you at some point when you see all these shelves across the country absolutely going bare. But it's trending en masse. This is Wisconsin, Walmart. This keeps going on and on and on and on and on. And all I can say is I hope that people are going to be implementing a plan to grow their own food.
All right, I ain't talking about growing food, but nevertheless, hey man, this is over for this here place, man. All right, and you'll have some people that'll sit there and say, "Oh, my store isn't looking like that," and things like that, in their own pride. Hey, but nevertheless, you start posting up those things, and then you're gonna have people from the next cities coming over into your cities and buying up stuff because, hey, a person with some kind of sense, they'd be walking into the stores and seeing that their shelves are bare on certain things, or there's a couple items left. They're gonna be like, you know what? We don't know if the next time we come in the store, if we're going to have anything. So let us go ahead and buy in bulk, just like the toilet paper situation, man. All right, people had toilet paper at home, but they was like, we don't know if we're going to be able to find it. So let us buy more than what we need right now at this point in time, man. So you have, you have the shortages of things being shipped in. All right, then you also have people that so-called panic buying of things and things like that, which is causing these shortages. All right, then you also have like the backup in the not to say the shipping, but just from the warehouses. People, we'll watch this third video. All right. This is on the actual news, right?
Learn about crypto and get paid as you learn with Coinbase Earn.
Because some people will say, "Oh, that's conspiracy, that's fake, this, and that." But hey, this is 41 minutes ago, man, on the actual news, man. All right, but nevertheless, like I'm saying, these things are starting. We watched these 3 videos real quick, and we was just looking at how it started with the shipping. All right, you couldn't get things into the ports and things like that. Then we started looking at the warehouses and then also the grocery stores and things like that. And let's just watch this video real quick.
Really are items more expensive now. Customers across the country say they're really having trouble even finding them in the store.
Right. So things are getting more expensive because why? It's costing them more to ship it. All right. Then sometimes you have, let's say, for instance, you have food that's being shipped on these big ships and things like that. And they have to stay out of port for a while. Just imagine if, you go and you buy your milk and things like that. They all have expiration dates. Now, if they can't even get to the store while they're sitting there waiting and they're spoiled by the time you get it, all right, that's, we got to go ahead and trash all of that, man. All right, which is going to cost the next round to be even more expensive, trying to get that there faster. All right, so things are getting up more expensive. Less people are having more and more jobs. You have a record number of people leaving the workforce. All right, and then you can't even get a lot of these items inside the store. All right, so let's watch.
That's right, these empty shelves.
But not only are items more expensive now, customers across the country say they're really having trouble even finding them in the stores.
That's right, these empty shelves here at grocery stores are becoming all too common. And new tonight, ABC Action News reporter Sarah Hollenbeck is going in depth on what's causing the shortages and experts' best advice to find the products you need.
Bare shelves and products out of stock for weeks. It's forcing shoppers like Vera Smith to go from one store to the next.
And see, that's another thing people aren't taking into account. So if you got to go from one grocery store to another grocery store to another grocery store just to make one meal together, how much money are you spending in gas and transport, which is costing, that's just also raising the price of that food, as well. If you normally could just go across the street to the grocery store, not spend that kind of gas on that trip. But now you have to go across town and across town. So let's just say you were trying to buy, let's say, a simple meal like some spaghetti. All right, one store you have the spaghetti noodles. All right, then you have to go across the town to go get the sauce. All right, and maybe you have to go across town to go get some bread or something like that, man. All right, now that little bit of a meal probably would, let's just say, cost you about $10, $12. Normally, for one, the price of it is going up, but then you also had to pay extra in gas getting to these stores, man. All right, like I said, I remember when they had the first little lockdowns and things like that, man. I remember having to go to 3 different grocery stores just to put one meal together, man. All right, but nevertheless, let's continue on.
Another store, and maybe they have it, so I'm spending gas doing that.
At Nature's Food Patch in Clearwater, General Manager Sean Balsley says he's never experienced anything like it.
It's like an ongoing hurricane that never ends.
Balsley says his store is impacted by supply chain shortages, but he's lucky. As a small retailer, he can pick and choose suppliers.
When we can get stuff and we know it's in short supply, we just order a lot of it. And sometimes we even clean our supplier out.
But that isn't the case for many big box stores.
I was in one of the bigger ones who I shall not name myself, and I saw that they had a limit on certain products. And you know that that's kind of extreme if you have to tell your customers they can't buy a lot. Because as you
And we already seen what happens when that happens. People will go in with their family and they'll get multiple carts and they'll start buying up things like that to create shortages, just like they were doing with the toilet paper, man. All right, they weren't running out of the toilet paper when we had the toilet paper quote unquote shortage. People was just overbuying it, so they couldn't get it into the store fast enough, man. Before people was, you would see people, or they would be bringing a whole pallet out, and then somebody would just go up and buy the whole damn pallet at once. And now none of that toilet paper ever made it to the shelf, meaning the rest of the people around the block was trying to get some, they couldn't even buy it, or even water, man. All right, down here in Florida with the hurricanes and things like that, when things like this happen, you see people just going in there and buying as much water as they can, not, allowing, anybody else to be able to get any of these things, man. All right.
we're in the business to sell stuff.
Supply chain expert Doug Baker of FMI Food Industry Association says the problem is the highly contagious Omicron COVID variant and people calling out sick in all aspects of the grocery process.
Boom. So you have it from the shipping situation, all right, to the warehouses. Like I said, you have people that's being sick over there and just trying to get it transported out because people are overbuying. All right, they can't stack the shelves fast enough. And then you also have problems with the people at the front end, all right, that's calling out or leaving their jobs or getting sick and things like that, man. All right.
That's compounded by rising costs. The average American family now spends $144 a week on groceries, compared to $113 a week before the pandemic.
How about that?
We're hoping that we'll see some normalization of the supply chain around the summertime. And that's with an asterisk. What does the pandemic do? How does weather play into it?
But there are some ways to beat out the supply chain woes. Baker suggests scanning your local store's weekly ad.
Yeah, but nevertheless, they said they hope things will get back better, real quick. But hey, this has pretty much been going on for the last couple of years, man. All right, so hey, let's just jump into some scriptures real quick because ultimately, we know how this is all going to end, man. All right, because hey, this is the turn down and the wind down of Babylon the Great. All right, not just that, Esau's rule throughout the whole earth. All right, it's gonna be a time of trouble like never was before on the earth, man. All right, so let's start here in Isaiah chapter 24. Hey, and another thing, man. This is this place that's been dwelling carelessly, man. All right, it used to be to the point where you can go and get food at 24 hours a day here in Babylon, man. You got your McDonald's, your Waffle Houses, your certain restaurants that you can go get food 24 hours a day, Walmarts and things like that, man. But nowadays with the shortages of workers and things like that, man, all right, and people are just not wanting to work and people getting sick and things like that and them trying to stop the spreads of certain things, they've changed up a lot of things here, man. America's not the same as what you can remember 5 years ago, man. All right. So it says, let's start here in verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languish, all the merry hearted do sigh. All right, just like the lady in the last clip was saying, I gotta go from one grocery store to another grocery store just to put together one meal, and that's going and cutting into my gas prices. So she's feeling mornings and woes all over the place, just trying to get dinner, man. All right, that's becoming a hassle, man. And right now, you still can get food. Imagine how it's going to be when the grocery stores are people are out there trying to get the last. Hey, remember the toilet paper situation, man. All right, it's going to get back bad like that again, where it's like, yo, we can't get no more meat in. It'll be, 2 weeks before we get the next shipment of meat inside the store, man. So you guys are going to have to do what you guys are going to have to do. Now, what do you think that people with any kind of amount of money is going to wind up doing? They're like, shit, we can't get it for the next 2 weeks. We're going to just buy up as much of it as we can right now, man. All right, we're going to start buying. Hey, man, remember when the grocery store situation was going down? You had before that, all these people that was trying to eat so-called healthy and eating only certain types of foods. Man, they went inside the grocery store and they was buying up any and everything, whatever they could find, man. TV dinners and all, man. All right, you seen things that was just going bad on the shelf that would normally just be going bad on the shelf because most people weren't even buying that type of stuff. Even that stuff was getting sold out, man. Anything that was somewhat edible or could stretch a meal on down or something else like that, these people was buying those things, man. Canned goods. Right now, you can go in the grocery store right now, and in certain places, like I just left the grocery store now, they got like a lot of the canned goods are actually being, not to say being missing, but those portions of the shelves are kind of empty over there, man. All right, because a lot of these people know they have a longer shelf life, so every time that they in the grocery store, whatever they're buying, let us just go ahead and pick up an extra item of this and an extra item of that too. That would be the wise thing to do. Let's say you go into the grocery store to go pick up something, let's just say dinner, which you're going to make pasta, right? Well, all right, well, we're going to go to the grocery store today. We're going to grab a couple items of canned goods or whatever, just in case, and then boom, put that off to the side. And next time you go grab something else. It's not like at the last minute when you know everything is dry, you got to go try to hoard up everything. You don't know what your funds are going to be like at that point in time, man. But nevertheless, hey, that's not going to necessarily save you either. But, just saying, as far as moving with a little bit of wisdom, because a lot of these people out here, especially 2/3 of our people, they out here blonde. They out here buying the new J's or whatever they spend their money on, and they don't even realize that, hey, the food in the grocery store is slowly but surely going up. All right, the availability of a lot of things is getting tighter and tighter and tighter, man. I always bring this example up. All right, when it comes to the PlayStations and the Xboxes, man, this is their. Let's just talk about PlayStation, right? This is Sony's like newest video game right now. As from a company standpoint, we didn't invested all this money for this new video game, and not just the console, but the actual video games to go along with it. All these people that's creating these little video games, that's a big investment. But guess what? They've halted their so-called not production, but their income because of the fact that there's a shortage of PlayStations out there, man. They still can't, you can go on the Best Buys and the Walmarts and so on. I mean, you can find them, but they're like twice the price of what the actual selling point is, man. And people aren't really trying to pay all that price. I mean, you do have some people, but the regular person is not trying to pay double what, like let's say some eggs cost you, let's say $5. Nobody really want to buy some $20 damn eggs, man. You know what I'm saying? They're like, man, we'll just wait it out. You know what I'm saying? Till the prices go back down. But hey, think about it from a business perspective. You've invested all this here money on this here item, let's say again the PlayStation, and now it's been what, a year, 2 years or something like that since they've been released, and they've still been out of stock since the day that they released. All right, so hey, it's like, well, we ain't really making no profit right now out of all that money we in development we didn't spend. We're not really making no money. We're at a halt right now. So how much more the rest of these necessity items? Because you can't eat no damn PlayStation, but nevertheless, you've seen the grocery store shelves being shorter, not shorter, but more and more empty. All right, and again, if the grocery store don't really have the products in there, now we just paying to keep our lights on and everything else, and we can't get no shipments coming in. We ain't really selling nothing in here to stay afloat, man. All right, so this is all going into a circle of breaking the economy, man. All right, so it says the mirth of tabret ceases, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of harp ceases. So going into that, man, it used to be a happy-go-lucky spirit here in America. Everybody was just always turning up and doing all these different things. But nowadays, especially with a lot of people getting ill and everything else like that, over these last holidays and everything else like that, you're seeing a lot more people having their so-called spirits change right about now, man. You had people that was out there before that was like, oh, this stuff ain't going to affect me. We're going to keep partying and turning up and everything else like that. Now, all of a sudden, they either got sick, their family got sick, or their jobs start shutting down. They're losing hours out of work. All right, now, like the lady was even saying, man, hey, man, because you'd have to actually be thinking about certain of these things to realize how much extra money you're spending on food. Because, hey, how often do you really go to the grocery store and, pick up and look at the prices when you shopping? That's something, that, the so-called quote-unquote older folks used to do. I remember my grandma used to go inside the store like, yo, you get these same items damn near every day or every week. You get bread, eggs, chicken, and rice, and so on and so forth. You should know about how much you're going to spend on average every time. You know what I'm saying? You over here just, oh, they didn't raise the price 2 cents, raise the price 3 cents. My grandma used to be like that, but nowadays, most people just pick up things and they go and just cash out. But nowadays, like I said, it would take a certain type of person to realize, like, damn, I got to go from this grocery store to that grocery store and also spend extra on gas. And gas prices are going up in certain places as well, too, man. All right, meaning that the amount in your income isn't going up any higher. The things around you is going up. It's costing more for gas, costing more for groceries and things like that, man. You didn't get, most people are, like I said, are either losing their jobs, quitting their jobs, or getting less hours because of, spreads of certain things at their jobs, or maybe they're sick and have to take off of work. All right, so your how you say it, your buying power is getting weaker and weaker, man. All right, so now they're not in that so-called turned up woo spirit. They more like, a woe is me spirit, man. Damn, man, I gotta make this here paycheck stretch for, some people get paid every 2 weeks, man. I gotta make this here paycheck stretch, man. We was out here eating steak and everything, every night and turning up and doing all this. Now let us try to stack up on some ramen noodles, and because that, we can stretch that for a long time, because until the times get a little bit better for us, man. I've been out of work for like the last 2 or 3 weeks or something else like that. So now we gotta make this last little paycheck stretch until I can come back up on another paycheck, man. All right. So it says the mirth of tabrets ceases, the noise of them that rejoice ended, the joy of harp ceases. They shall not drink wine with a song, and strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. And hey, that's another thing that's going up right now. The how do you say, the amount, or the alcohol sales, more or less to say. People are buying more and more alcohol right about now. What is it? Alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. I mean, obviously they don't really count drugs like at the grocery store type of thing. Hey, no matter of fact, no. Well, there was an article about the medical marijuana situations. All right, but nevertheless, the point is the people aren't really, it used to be people were buying these things to go out and party. Let's go to the bar. Let's watch the game. Let's sit over here and do this, and that, and turn up and have a good time and drink and take some shots. Now these people, you see them in the bar still sometimes, but they're in there midday and everything else like that with that sad long face, like, man, I done lost my job and I'm drinking in my sorrows and I can't afford this no more. I had to stop paying on my kids' college tuition, or I got to get rid of the boat. We got to move and downsize. There's a lot of people that are so-called downsizing their homes and everything else like that because they can't afford certain things, man. And then how much more when, most people are living paycheck to paycheck if they wind up getting sick, man. Now they got to take off work for a couple days. Now they're really looking at certain things. And it's just like, you know what? Instead of going out and going and get some food or some medicine, I'm going to just go ahead and go get this here bottle of alcohol and just drink myself into sorrows, man. All right, this is another thing that's on an increase over here, man. All right, a lot more depression and mental issues out here, man. All right, it says the city verse 9 again, they should not drink wine with the song, strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up that no man may come in. All right, and so hey, this is what you see going on here in America, man. A lot of businesses are shutting down, boarding up, all right, because they can't afford to stay afloat. People aren't really going out to eat in restaurants like they used to be, because again, the joy is ended over here, man. People used to go out and just spend money just because we going out to eat every night of the week just because we got it like that. But now again, they got to make their dollar stretch. So now they at home trying to cook these meals. And what does that do to the restaurant business, man? People who used to just go out and just spend and splurge and do all these different things, order up a bunch of food and wind up throwing it all away because they just, was partying and living lavish. All these places where it's $100 and $200 a person to eat. People don't need that to survive, man. All right, so they're gonna stop eating at those places like that, which in turn is gonna stop turning the wheels for their restaurant or that business establishment to stay afloat, man. What are they gonna wind up having to do? Alter their hours, all right, and lay off some people. And what is that gonna do, man? The person they had to lay off for their hours got cut. They got less spending power now, man. So now less money is going back into the economy. So hey, man, this place is circling the drain. All right, it says the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is dark and the mirth of the land is gone. And these people are looking for answers, man. How do we get back? They was talking about the bounce back before. Now they like, what are we going to do? Now we didn't downsize the house. All right, we did have 2 cars. Now we got 1 car. Now we taking public transit. Now I'm out here getting a motorized bike or a scooter. All right, because I can't afford to get my car repaired, or they repoed the car because I couldn't afford to pay for it. All right, now we got to get rid of all these different how you call them, these little add-ons we used to have. We was paying for all of this and paying for all of that, these little things, the gym memberships and all these things. Hey, man, I can work out at home doing some sit-ups and push-ups now, man. I can't afford to go back out to the gym and spend money on all these different crazy things we were spending money on. And again, what's happening to those people that are, for instance, again, you ain't got enough money to go out and get a solid meal for the whole week, man, from the grocery store, because things is hitting you higher over there than at the gas pump. So let's just imagine certain women that's going out and getting their nails done, their hair done once a week or things like that, man. Now they got to, I got to cut back on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm working at home, or I'm not working anyway right now anyway. So, now that the nail tech people has got less traffic coming in. So what do you think is going to happen there, man? All right, it's just a constant cycle of, degradation of the system, man. All right, it says the city is left desolation. The gates is smitten with destruction. All right. So, hey, ultimately, this here place is circling the drain, man. This place is going out the window, man. All right. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 6. I think it's verse 22. Yeah. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22, it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And so, hey, this is what it was like, a couple years back, to where, like I was saying, you can go 24 hours a day to the local Walmart, you know what I'm saying, and go buy whatever it is. Walmart had everything at all the times. They was never running short of nothing, man. Walmart had everything. You could go in there and get lost and just buy things that you don't even need, man. Nowadays, it's like a scavenger hunt. You going into these big box stores. It's like, yo, we go to the store with unlimited items, and they only got a limited amount of items and certain things, man. And people are running through there like madmen, man. All right, so hey, it's getting hard to find certain things, man. The shipping supplies and the shipping lanes are being backed up and pushed off, and the prices are being trickled down into the customer, man. All right, and again, it's getting more expensive for you to buy, but you're also getting less money on your income right about now, man. All right. It says in verse 23, and when the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at the time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, so hey man, well, let's get to go further in on that. What is it? 16. Well, we could read this too. This wasn't what I wanted, but hey, Spirit, we can read this too. Second Ezra 16 and let's start at verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? All right, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine, all right, and great death. So, hey, this is the times that we're living in now, where you're seeing bare shelves and things like that. The beginning of famines and things like that, the shortages of a lot of things, man. All right, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, which shall do when these things shall come. When these evils shall come. Behold, famine and plague and tribulation, anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they should not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of scourges. So, hey, all these things are happening for you to get right. But look, you see 2/3 of our people, they still turning up, still going out to the clubs and the bars and spending up. We see them at camp on the weekends, man. They be out there at the little restaurants and the clubs and everything else like that. And they spending all kind of money on these little drinks for these little moments and everything else like that. But I guarantee they little refrigerators are probably bare. When they get back home, you know what I'm saying? They're just spending up money like that. But hey, it's gonna come a point in time where they're not gonna be able to afford anything, man. And all those so-called good times and those good memories, you ain't gonna be able to eat any of that stuff in those times, man. All right. Verse 21, behold, victors shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves in good case. All right. And this was going back to, you had a time like this when those stimulus checks was going out, those PPP loans was going out. Everybody was out there turned up and living their best life and everything else like that. But now all of a sudden, things are starting to dry up, man. These people are starting to look back to the government for more stimulus packages, man. All right. It says, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. All right. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the others shall escape the hunger, shall the sword destroy. All right. So, hey, ultimately, you're going to start seeing more and more of these famines and shortages of a lot of things going on to, the people. Well, let's get this is the point I wanted to grab here. And, Second Ezra 15 and verse 19. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of a lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, so hey, because the shelves are empty, they can't get certain things, or they lost their job and there's no more work for these people, man. All right, when these people start getting hungry, what do you think they're gonna wind up doing, man? Especially if they see you posting up on the internet, flossing, what's all, my pantry is on full. I got all these things popping off for me right now. I got this and I got that. And they seeing you posted up and bragging about it, man. All right, or they see you over there not missing no meals and everything else going on. And what else do they have to lose at that point in time, man? Let me read it again. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. All right, he ain't gonna be thinking, oh, Fred, that's my best friend. He used to watch my dog when I was out of town. You know what I'm saying? We sit down and watch the game together and everything else. No, man, when these people are out here starving, ain't had nothing to eat, you know what I'm saying? And they looking at each other for, or their kids and things like that, man. They're going to start going out the woodwork, man. They might start eating their pets first or the dog food first and everything else like that. All right. Then ultimately, like in the video, it was like the dog food shortages, and the pet food is gone too, man. So some people might think, well, shit, we can't get no more pet food. We got to get rid of the dog. Well, let's just not get rid of the dog. We might as well eat him first. You know what I'm saying? Then they start looking at each other, man. Then they start looking at the neighbors and what they got and start running up into their house, man. All right. It's about to get real bad and ugly out here, man. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. All right, and America got more guns than they got citizens. All right, so hey, it'd be nothing for these people to start running up in folks' house. It said, and spoil their goods because of a lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, because of a shortage of food, and when people can't eat, they start resulting in desperate measures, man. They start going, into how you say a mind of desperation, man. All right, they had, they revert back to their so-called quote unquote survival skills, man. All right, you don't want to see these folks out there in those times like that, man. The people that you used to think is your best friend and everything else like that. And hey, a lot of these people in the world really ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? And they've all done little shady things behind each other's backs and everything else like that, and so on and so forth. But they don't like being lonely, so they still stick it out with these folks. But you have these folks out here like I was watching this video of this it was an Edomite chick who befriended another person in another chick. I don't know if they was co-workers or not, but she wound up having some friends go in there and pretty much tie her up and rob her and held her, kidnapped her and everything, held her hostage while they was robbing her, some little petty stuff. But nevertheless, the chick had like the little cameras inside her house to show the whole footage and everything else like that. But in the news story, she was like, yeah, The one chick befriended the other chick. They was so-called quote-unquote friends. But you don't know what might have happened in that little friendship. One girl might have slept with the other girl's boyfriend and she still felt slighted about it, or one girl might have got a job and the other one didn't, or got a position or a raise or whatever, man. But these things are going to come back up into these people's minds at that point in time, man. All right, let me read it one more time. 2 Ezra 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, man. So as these things start to, manifest themselves more and more and more, all right, you're going to start seeing the love of many wax colder and colder and colder out here on these streets, man. All right, so hey, Lord's will and the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakak Kwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, the great millstone that taught us this truth and ever will. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So next time I say, stay strong, shalom.